Desafinado recorded their second record at Pogo Studios in Champaign. Pogo's owner Mark Rubel is internationally known for his talents as a record producer and sound engineer. His client list includes Hum, Alison Krauss, and Adrian Belew. He is often credited as one of the reasons Champaign-Urbana has such an incredible music scene. Tim Harton takes us behind the scenes at Pogo Studios and talks to Mark about what it takes to create a unique sound in a homogenized world.
Here we are at Pogo Studio. Register here, win a free hearing aid for a friend or loved one. Behind this door, we've got lots of guitars for our clients to play and lots of microphones to help us capture them. All sorts of memorabilia here. The studio is separated mainly into two rooms. This is the playing area of the studio. And we have, as you can see, many, many instruments of all kinds. Our studio drum kit, lots of guitars. We've got about 50 or 60 guitars here, including the famous gas can guitar, which gets 8 notes per gallon. Just a nice big room that sounds really good. There's been tons of wonderful music played here by tons of wonderful musicians. One of the most important features of our studio is the couch. Very comfortable, puts clients and students to sleep almost immediately, and it's scientifically designed to shake the change out of people's pockets, which is how we managed to afford all this stuff. This is a vintage Moog synthesizer from 1968. Really, actually a wonderful instrument, quite rare, lovingly restored by Mark Smart. This is a 24-track reel-to-reel tape machine, something that you don't see much of these days. It doesn't get as much use as it might, because mainly we're recording on computer nowadays. We have all of this outboard equipment, lots of flashing lights. As everybody knows, the more flashing lights, the more talent you have. This is mixing board, custom built in 1971 to make Creedence Clearwater Revival records. This is our computer system we record on. Digital recording. We can do any amount of cutting, pasting, editing, retuning, and so forth. It's a very powerful system. A big part of using it is knowing when to quit. Here's something somebody brought me yesterday. It's a recording of their father's voice from 1942. It was recorded, it says, "This is a recorded message from your man in service." And this is something that they would offer at military bases. For one thing, some of these people couldn't necessarily write, and it was a way of capturing their message and transmitting it home. And in a very personal way, there's a difference between a letter and being able to hear somebody's voice and their tone of voice. So it's a very magical and special thing. And it's a legacy, really. And it all started with Thomas Alva Edison, an Edison record. And this is the technology that began everything that we do. A recorded cylinder. Analog recording, really. And here we have a phonograph powered by arm. Giant needle, giant record, 78 RPM. Very simple machine that makes music.
I was the first to board Rocket X. I stood in the airlock and watched my men marching down
When
the
I was a
field
little kid,
toward the spaceship.
one of my parents' friends asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up, little Mark?" And I said, "When I grow up, I should like to be an astronomer, but if there are no openings, I would like to be a raccoon." And I guess I ended up tending a little more to the raccoon side. Also, when I was 8, my parents gave me a little tiny battery-powered reel-to-reel recorder. I would spend hours recording things and speeding them up and slowing them down, cutting the tape up, taping it back together. That's pretty much what I do now all day long, record stuff, play it back, move it around, and I still take as much delight in it as I did then. Welcome to Mark's Petting Zoo. This is a theremin. Robert Moog action figure, complete with synthesizer and glasses. Strangers in the night. And that's why I'm on this side of the glass. Better musicianship with louder amplifiers. It's a cigarette case. It's a guitar amp. Here's a fun thing. This is called a thingamagoop. This is a moving fader system. The faders are showing the levels that we have in the computer system. I teach recording here in my studio through Parkland College. I also teach recording and music business at Millikan University in Decatur. It helps you to really understand in a deep way what you're doing because you have to explain it to other people. It's also just an amazing and rich experience. I've made a lot of friends. I learn a lot from my students. It also gives me the opportunity to experiment with what I'm doing when I'm not on the clock with my clients.
They're gonna put me in the movie. They're gonna make a big star out of me. All I gotta do is act naturally.
I've had over 2,000 students at this point. Many of them are now professionals in their own right. They're working in studios or theaters, or they're musicians, or they're booking agents, they're working for record companies and so forth. Now I've been teaching long enough, I started teaching in 1985, that I've had children of original students come through the class.
This is called the Continuum Fingerboard. It was invented by Lippold Haken, who's an engineering professor here at U of I. The idea is for it to be sort of like a keyboard, but continuous.
The studio and I are unique in our approach and philosophy more than anything. And the studio is really an embodiment of my philosophy about music making and record making. That we're really trying to create an environment, an atmosphere that's as conducive as possible to best realization of the music.
Mark Rubel of Pogo Studios. He is a wonderful person and an incredible engineer. He becomes a member of the group whenever you walk through that door.
And we would talk about the songs, and we'd be like, it's really like an interesting environment because it seems that you're inside this capsule.
We're just lucky that Champaign-Urbana has such a rich musical culture and so many great musicians of all different styles, so much wonderful music. And something that I really value about Champaign-Urbana is that our musical world is not a music scene, but it's a music community. I'm always amazed that I'm able to actually get paid to do what I love to do. I sort of feel like I'm getting away with something all the time.
Are we ready for a take?
I'm sort of waiting for the fun police to catch up with me at some point and say, wait a second, you've been having fun all this time, not actually working.
Take one, all blues.
Tonight's